Northwestern student newspaper, the Daily Northwestern, has served as a launching pad for the careers of thousands of journalists across the globe. It's run entirely by students. We recently took a closer look at life inside the Daily to see how its staff produces one of the nation's top student newspapers. At first, this might not look like a newspaper that's been around for over 100 years. But a closer peek at life inside the Daily Northwestern reveals some of the school's rich journalism history, as well as how its youthful current leaders manage today's paper while preparing themselves for the future of print media.
Especially because they hadn't done anything in so long, or they didn't have anything before, and they've changed it recently, so I thought it was a good story. And it's good. I had written 2 stories before coming to journalism school. In high school, I wrote 2 stories and then somehow was editor-in-chief of my high school paper, so I didn't write it all then. So I had 2 stories coming in, so that's why the Daily means so much to me, because they taught me. The Daily is where I learned how to write, and that's how I could take what I learned from the Daily to do well in class, and I had a leg up in a lot of people in class because I'd written so much for the Daily.
While serving as a valuable training ground for Northwestern student writers to hone their skills, the Daily Northwestern also provides the university and Evanston's 75,000 residents with the city's only daily publication.
This was one that had to empty out? They had to empty. They had a bomb threat and they had to empty out.
And there was a bomb scare in middle school.
I think just with the 2, because we haven't really talked about the 2 bomb threat things, I think we can bring that in there too.
That's true.
With a circulation around 8,000, the Daily's staff of writers, editors, and photographers is constantly working to provide readers with news happening on and off campus, all while managing their own class schedules.
Hey, where's that chart of...
Right.
I have 3. I had 4. I had to drop one. I mean, I'm here close to 50 hours a week, so yeah, it's hard. My classes have not been my priority this quarter, but I came into this quarter knowing that, and this is practical. This is like what I want to do with my life.
Assigning reporters to stories is one of Diana's daily responsibilities.
Elise, it's Diana. Hey, so I have a huge favor to ask of you. What are you doing this evening? Do you want to go to the Downtown Plan Commission?
Basically, it's just the downtown plan meeting. So there's been a proposal to build a building that's like 49 stories, and all the Evanston people aren't really thrilled about that because it's a lot taller than any building that's in downtown right now. So this is something that people will really get passionate about, so it should be interesting.
See, here's the whole bloody thing.
Meaningful contribution means nothing. What does that mean? Give me some hard facts. And then design as a public benefit, that's really out there on the list.
We're a city paper also. We do have a lot of city reporters as well, and so it's just important to cover something like this that would really change the landscape of Evanston. I mean, if this building happens, it'll make the whole downtown look different. It'll make new developers come in, new people come in, so it would be a really big deal.
With a diverse readership base that includes students and faculty, Evanston residents, and university alums, maintaining editorial independence has remained one of the paper's hallmarks for decades.
The Daily has no affiliation with the school except we're the Daily Northwestern, just the name. We fund ourselves. We're in a school building, but that's really our only affiliation. They have no say over content or anything like that. We decide what we want to print. We make all of the money that runs the paper ourselves. So if we feel the administration is doing something wrong, we can say it without worrying about anything that can happen.
And there have been issues of controversy in the past. A lot of things are unpopular to some people, but I kind of think a newspaper should be a forum for open ideas, even if they're not the ideas held by the majority of the people. And we've never really had a problem with that. People generally write about what they want to write about. And then, there's a letter to the editor page, so if you don't like something, you should definitely feel free to tell us. And people do all the time, and I think that that's part of what makes the newspaper good.
Good. All right. And then just make sure you stylize, because that is going to be taking up.
Even though Stephanie Wang wants to be a big city newspaper reporter one day, she believes wearing multiple hats at the Daily Northwestern will prepare her for a changing media age.
I'm the design editor here, so that means that I'm in charge of all the layouts and putting everything on the page and making sure everything looks nice, basically. It's a little bit more complicated than that. I'm here 40 hours a week, so that's pretty much like having a full-time job. But I do enjoy this a lot more than my classes, though, so that kind of plays into daily versus academic. Daily wins a lot of the time. It's hard. I have 4 classes. I get out of class, I come here, I'm here until 2 a.m. I go home, I finish whatever work I couldn't get done here, and I sleep when I can, wake up, repeat.
Our deadline's 2. Last month, our average was way before that. It was like 140 something, which was the best it's been in a few years, so that was good. This month, we're more like 2:30, so it's a little bit later. We finish before midnight sometimes, which is amazing, and we finish at 6 in the morning sometimes, which isn't so amazing.
Long nights spent trying to maintain regular deadlines, as well as staff harmony, have led to some pretty irregular eating habits.
No. I can't believe you haven't heard that. If it gets to be a bad night, we have our vending machines out there, because there's a 24-hour Steak and Shake that's not too far from here. So anytime they got out after 5, the rule was they had to go to Steak and Shake to eat. That's also on the table, that at 5 in the morning Steak and Shake, which I'm not sure how Steak and Shake would taste at 5 in the morning.
Stephanie, you ever done that?
He's never taken me to Steak and Shake ever, and I've been here past 5
I said I didn't do it. I said I haven't done it yet because we're so tired, but I don't understand how they did it, because at 5 in the morning, the last thing you want to do is go eat Steak and Shake.
We're really close. I mean, all of us spend a lot of time together, you know, from 4 o'clock in the afternoon until 2 o'clock at night every night. We do have that kind of like that family bond. I don't know, it's kind of, it sounds cheesy, but it's so true. We bicker like brothers and sisters, and, you know, Abe, our editor-in-chief's kind of like, you know, dad, you know.
You do get to know everybody really well, and it's funny because I've been saying a lot that because of the Daily, I don't get to see a lot of my friends, but everybody at the Daily, they're my friends, so I do end up seeing my friends. It's just a different group.
You know, it's a great place to work. It really is, and ever since I started here, I've never regretted ever, you know, coming here.
This time next year, I'm hoping to be working in the Middle East as a correspondent somewhere. We'll see if that happens.
I actually want to be a reporter, so it's kind of funny that I'm putting all this time into being design editor and doing all the layout stuff for the Daily, but I think it's kind of it's a great alternative because I get all this experience in alternate storytelling, and it's a nice break from my classes where I do a lot of reporting. But in the long term, I'd love to be a local reporter for a city newspaper.
With changes in the way people receive their news seemingly occurring at a faster rate than at any other point in history, keeping up with all the latest technology is something that these budding young journalists realize is crucial to their success.
We're taking the new technology very seriously. We're using a bunch of new technology. We're going to try to start with video, podcasting, blogging. And we're trying to redesign the website now too, to make it more user-friendly and more up-to-date. So Medill is teaching all of these new technologies, and we're trying to implement them at the Daily. We're trying to resemble what a newspaper when you go out after college is going to be like. And they're all using video, they're all blogging, and they're all doing podcasts. So we want to give people the tools, just like Medill is trying to give people the tools.
You do need to be well balanced. You need to know how to do lots of things in order to get a job in the business these days. And you know, with papers going online and all the changes that are occurring in the industry, you can't just be a writer. You can't just be a photographer. You need to be somewhat self-sufficient. You know, staff sizes are getting smaller, and there's more work for fewer people.
I think print, especially with the student newspaper, is in fine shape because students are still going to want to get the paper when they go to class or when they go to lunch or something like that. And so I think it's something that maybe a lot of people take for granted just because it's always there, and that's fine if you take it for granted, but they just trust that it's always going to be there and always going to be something that they want to read, and hopefully we give them what they want to read, and it can be a part of their community, not just kind of thrown at them.